What's up, guys? It's been a couple of weeks since I did a discussion video, and I was hoping just to check back in with you all and go over my last meet. It was the UW Indoor Preview. It was my first meet in the Stanford singlet representing the team, which was a fantastic opportunity, and there's a lot to learn as well. So I thought it'd be pretty fun to go over all that, talk about how the race went, sort of how I'm thinking about it now, and how we're moving forward from it. And without further ado, let's get into it. So coming into the race, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Training in Florida, I'd never really had a full indoor season before, but I had a couple races. Like last year, I raced with my teammates Devin Hart and Ryan Oosting at the New Balance Nationals Indoor 2 Mile. I remember we swept that, which was pretty dope. And I took my week off after cross, and then I started working my way back up to mileage. I was having so much fun training back in Florida with my friends, and also getting in some good runs in Virginia over Christmas break. And then when I got back on campus and I was told that I'd be racing this meet, I was a little surprised just because it was kind of early, but I was excited, obviously. I mean, every opportunity to race is a blessing, and you can't take any of them for granted, obviously. So all I wanted to do was just go out there, compete, put out my best performance, and make sure that after my first race for Stanford that I could safely say I put in my best effort. And I feel like that's what you're always trying to do on a race. And I'd say of all the ways that it could have gone, this was pretty much what I'd consider a good start. So we get to the start line, and there are a ton of people there, which to me indicates that it's going to be a rough race. And it definitely did not disappoint on that front. But I remember we were in the second row of people on the line, and the gun went off and we were charging ahead. I mean, it's definitely been a pretty sharp transition, I'd say, from cross-country paces to track paces. I mean, and so I just remember going out and I was like hanging on from one lap in. I remember we had a pacer in the race who was trying to hit 420. I'm pretty sure we did that. So going around this first turn, you can kind of see I swung out wide. I was trying to get in a good position. I thought, if I could just stick myself at the front, the rest would kind of work itself out. But I think I kind of underestimated the pace that we were going and how much harder it would be running on the outside a bit. So definitely, I think a learning point from this race is going to be racing a bit more tactically in the future, which has never been one of my strong points. But now that in college every race is sort of the highest caliber, I'm going to have to start treating these individual races with a bit more, I want to say, respect going into them, as in I can't just, throw it all out there without at least something of a game plan. I think another key takeaway is just to be ready for the pace, because I think for some reason my mind was still stuck in cross-country season, and even though I knew that it was going to be a lot faster, obviously, because it's a 3K, I guess I wasn't ready to just put my head down and gun it. And I think that's what my teammate Devin Hart did really, really well. I mean, he ended up running an 8:02, which is a phenomenal race. And I remember he was telling me that, he just stuck himself up there, went with it, and just kind of grinded it out, no matter how hard it was. And I think in my mind, I was thinking a bit more about how in cross country you're just kind of controlled, relaxed, and you kind of float through those sort of tough parts. And I think going into track, especially indoor track where the races are a little shorter, I'm just going to have to switch it into grind mode. And so the laps went by. I think it was around the 4th or 5th lap, maybe 6th. Everything really just lit up, and I started to feel really, really tired. And I think everyone who's ever raced knows what I'm talking about, but I really just hit a wall and kind of faded back a little bit, which is not a great feeling. I mean, for the pace we were going and where I'm at training wise so far, I think it was still a really decent performance, but I think I need to watch out for sort of getting too stuck in my head when that edge starts coming, because it's gonna come every race. I mean, every race, indoor, outdoor track, cross country, is gonna hurt at some point. And I think that based on this experience, I still have some work to do of leaning into that discomfort and sort of taking control, taking ownership of my racing. And so I think if I can work on that, the fitness will come, the speed will come, everything else is built on mentality. And so I think that's one of the major takeaways for me in this race. Overall, I want to say it's a good starting point. I know that this season is going to be long. There are going to be ups and there are going to be downs. And I think that this is a pretty neutral starting point on which I can build a relatively successful season. So I'm excited about where I'm at this early in the season, and I'm even more excited about where I can be by the end. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for listening, and I'll check in with you next time.